All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us today on this motivational Zoom. My name is Austin Zuloff out here in Lexington, Kentucky, Vice President of North America for Zealous. Now, we've got a real treat for you today. Of course, if you're in the States, it's today, it's this evening. If you're out there in the UK, where our speaker is from. And so I want to get right into it because I want to take some good notes. I hope you do too. Okay, so Christina is a leader in our beloved profession of network marketing from out in Wales in the UK, across the pond from me, right? Her and her husband, Nick, own a wildly successful multimedia marketing business out there where she is just like the creative genius, right, behind the company. So her vast experience as a leader in the network marketing space over the years has afforded her many skills, and combined with her digital marketing and social media marketing expertise, she's helped countless business owners reach staggering business goals. So please pay close attention to a good friend of mine out there in Wales, industry leader, Miss Christina Hartery. Christina, the Zoom is yours, my friend.
Well, thank you, Austin. As always, a wonderful introduction into to me, the creative space. It's great to see you all on, everyone, this afternoon, this evening, and respectively where you are around Europe and in the US. And yeah, I'm going to be covering some great things today about faith versus fear, a key subject, I think, to how to stop fears, stealing your dream. Okay, because fear steals the dream. Last week, we saw Whit set the stage with a superb training on confidence and confidence in the business. And so today I'm going to be sharing more about personal development, because that's key to developing a good, solid relationships within this business and fulfilling your own personal potential within those relationships. I'm going to be talking about how to get good relationships and dispel fears approaching people. And I'm going to be just sharing some tips and techniques that anyone can apply to building your business and inviting people along. I want to be bringing out the best in you and the best in your people. And it starts with how you feel, because, we attract to people that are like ourselves. We are magnetic, not what we're like on the outside a lot of times, what we're like on the inside. Yeah. How we're feeling. For me, it is a relationship business. We're in the network marketing space, and a network marketing space is about relationships. And we're human beings. We're creatures of emotion more than logic. We are emotional people. When we're connecting to people, and what I mean by that is how people buy into things. They buy into things from emotional points of view, how they feel about you. If you're talking about emotion, you're talking about the depth of emotion. When I'm talking about things like that, it's about how passionate you are, how you feel about what you're sharing with those prospective people. Are you coming from a place where you're passionate about it? Are you bringing your prospecting from that point of view, from that experience? When we buy products, and certainly we have products within this business model, it's not just about how, it's a product, it's how we feel about the product. Is it going to be able to give us intangible things like body confidence, more energy to do the jobs that we need to do and things like that? It's that inner emotional place that we're coming from. I like to use different sorts of analogies. So I'm going to use strawberries and cream. Imagine strawberries and cream. I don't know if you guys have strawberries and cream over in the US. We do here, definitely in the UK. It's a fabulous, tasty combination of fruit and whipped cream or ice cream, whatever you prefer. And the combination is wonderful. One's sweet and the other's sort of creamy, and it's a unique thing, and they complement each other. And I can imagine that you're all thinking about that right now. And I love that. I love strawberries and cream. And, it's a very Moorish thing. And as I'm conveying that emotional context to you, I'm sure that you're thinking, yeah, I might say, I fancy that. We were talking about sticky toffee pudding earlier and things like that. You think about that and you think, oh, yeah, I would like to go and get that. It's an emotional experience, yeah? If you believe in where you're going in this business, it's the depth of your conviction that people will follow into the business. It's all about your conviction, not your logic. Yeah. It starts with you, not the person you hit up in the business. It's not about the self-limiting stories that we tend to tell ourselves. We set self-limiting beliefs that we feed ourselves when we're inviting people into this, business space. We need to feel emotively connected. There are three selves: our past selves, our present selves, and our future selves. And we're all looking to leave the past self behind and get to the future self. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get where you've always got, right? So, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get where you've always got. Clearly, as you're on this today, you're not where you want to be. And as the adage goes, if you change some things in your life in order to change some things, you need to change some things in your life in order to change some things in your life. I mean, we've all heard that before. And as Whit covered last week, we can only make these changes by practicing on a daily basis. Again, if inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is hard. Practice makes perfect. Action takes away fear. Action strengthens character and conviction in oneself. Action conquers fear and recreates confidence, the feeling of success once you've done something. We all need to face our fears and strengthen our conviction. And I know as human beings, we all have fears. We need to feel fear, push through it, get positive results, get in the foray and get in and do things. How many of you are guilty of overthinking? I know I am sometimes. Put yes in the comment if you felt that way. Overthinking is very paralyzing. People who brought you onto this opportunity brought you in here not because of the height of their logic, how much they know and all that sort of thing. They got you involved because of the depth of their conviction, how they felt about the opportunity and what they were bringing you into. Conviction is your emotional belief in something. We're talking about inviting people into a business model and engaging with their emotions and them engaging with yours. Are you piquing interest with people, whetting their appetite for the strawberries and cream and not giving them the whole bowl and throwing it at them? Hopefully you're whetting their appetite, getting them involved emotionally and just sort of piquing that interest. We're no different to any of the prospects that we invite into this, and you are the same as the prospects you're inviting. Your expectations are the same as those prospects. You must always remember that. As we get further into inviting with people, we forget those are the same people, the same thoughts and the same emotions we had on coming into this business. A lot of people have problems in their lives. They're looking for money, health, help in some area or another. This opportunity is there to help them solve that problem. Yeah. And a lot of you know that logically, and you need to know that you need not just repeat that process, as many leaders have told you, hey, repeat that process, repeat that process. It doesn't mean you logically repeat that process. It means you need to get in there and get involved with the actual process of inviting people and connecting to human beings. Yeah. Now, identifying a problem is half of the process of solving a problem, sure. And finding a workable solution is the other half. Many people don't repeat this process of what I'm talking about because of fear. They do it because they have fears. Each and every one of us has fears, anxieties, trepidations related to inviting people in our business opportunity. I know this because I felt exactly the same way and had to find simple solutions to those fears. We can feel anything from inadequate. We can think we're going to be rejected. We have all sorts of things that we don't know enough. We have things going through our minds, and these are actually paralyzing us from moving forwards. These fears are learned responses. They come from your past experiences and traumas. And I know many of our leaders have covered that in this business forum before. And I've actually talked about how that's paralyzing. They in turn lead to negative expectations. And certainly when I'm teaching people, I get to understand that this is something they're processing. Expectation is everything. You can actually convince your mind to fail by the thoughts you think as you run those negative programs and you're running those through. Some of you may have come from a burned prior company. You may have stuff from your childhood. You may have problems with your personal relationships, and you're bringing all of these into the now, into your, if you like, your reality today. Yeah. So you're recreating the past into the future. Obviously, battling fear is not a good feeling. We're all fallible. Most of us don't actually tell anybody we're frightened most of the time. We're just trying to find our way through it. This can stop you from becoming the best version of yourself and living the best version of your life. It can stop you from fulfilling your potential, your dreams, and lead to regret and pain. You regret what you haven't done, right? We're almost certainly using our past to attempt to control our future possible outcomes. You need to understand, to take action and put aside those fears and get a better future rolling forward. Some fears are covered by mental dis-ease, such as justification, rationalization, and excusitis. Justification, rationalization, and excusitis. These are all human conditions and very easy to catch, okay? We all sort of rationalize things, telling ourselves rational lies. We tell ourselves rational lies a lot of the time. I can't get to it today. I'm far too busy with work. Or the kids have too many activities. I'm running from pillar to post. The golden rule here is, thou shalt not kid thyself. Okay. We do it. We're humans. We do these things. We put off tasks. This leads to procrastination. Procrastination, telling ourselves, hey, we're going to do this tomorrow. We'll get there tomorrow. We get there later. Of course, tomorrow never comes. We procrastinate. We don't realize we're doing these things, but we're putting this procrastination in there. Okay. Leading to things like excuse-itis. Hey, one of my favorites. Okay. I love this. One of my old mentors used to say, I've run out of chocolate ice cream. But excuse-itis, it means that you are just doing that. Oh, I've got to decorate the house, got to take the dog for a walk. You're telling yourself excuses, you're telling other people excuses. I don't even know if you're half the time you believe in that thing, but you're running that sort of program, okay? And we all do it, okay? Now, inviting people is the principal activity in this business, and action takes away fear and cures all diseases. Action cures all. It's true that magnetic marketing finds you lots of people, and it does. You have lots and lots of people to talk to, but then you need to talk to them, and you need to talk to them with emotion, shine with belief and conviction. And remember, you've got to just start somewhere, get that conviction in there. Fear is emotional. It's not logical. It's the brain's way of trying to protect you, but often it causes you harm in the process, as you'd imagine. Many of us were born almost fearless, yet fear has been taught or inbred into us from our parents, our peers, our accumulated life experiences. We, as well as learning new things, you're going to be unlearning this fear as you get involved within this space, of course. I'm going to use an example. I'm claustrophobic. So I'm going to get you to imagine a cupboard under the stairs, like in Harry Potter. For those of you who've watched Harry Potter, very famous over here in the UK. Imagine a cupboard. If you go in there with the light on, and I go in there with the light on, and I touch the walls, and I touch the ceiling, and the doors open, and I logically think, oh man, this is safe, man. I love this. This is okay. It's all right. But then I'm popped in the cupboard, turn the light off, shut the door. I go into the dark. I obviously get very scared, if not terrified. I get emotional, okay? I get emotional. Your fears are exactly the same. You're running those fears ahead of yourself and not necessarily getting to think, well, hey, this is something I got to get on top of. And I get into that a little bit now in a minute. So by understanding these fears and diseases, I was able to take my empowerment back and step into my authentic self. This was one of my messages of my conviction, taking it all back into my own hands. As you can see with my red hair and my creative expression, I have found my empowerment, and I'll talk a little bit more about that again. First and very common fear is the fear of people, however. Lots of people have a fear of people. You may be thinking, what if people don't like me? What if they reject me? How will they judge me? Okay, we're all judged, and we worry about what people think all of the time. A lot of times they're not really worrying about us. They're doing whatever they're doing, thinking about their problems. But we tend to think that. Many of you will be judging me right now and evaluating all sorts of things. Many human beings are very scared of that because it's a natural human behavior to think of these sorts of things. How many of you felt prejudged when approaching people and thought, what if they find out I don't know what I'm talking about, and they laugh at me or block me or something horrible like that, and you're having this nightmarish scenario going off in your head? Put yes in the comments if that's something you're thinking. Another common one is fear of failure. Fear of failure. What if it doesn't work for me? I really want this thing to work for me, and I fall flat on my face. What if I can't make this work for me? What if I fail and this makes me feel weak or inferior? Perhaps you're feeling that you could get ridiculed and it'd be circulating around Facebook. But these things are things you've got to acknowledge within yourself, of course. And if that you're feeling like that, put yes in the comment box, of course. I grew up with a lot of ridicule, and I had to learn, as Dale Carnegie said, any fool can criticize, complain, and condemn, and most fools do. But it takes character and self-control to be understanding and forgiving. I was carrying my past forward, expecting to be criticized or shot down for what I was involved in. I had a self-worth problem. And it meant that I didn't have a lot of value when I approached this business model. I had poor belief in myself. I was forever comparing myself to others and feeling they were better than me. I know Wick covered that very well last week when he talked about the fact, we use a lot of comparisons. How many of you feel like this? Pop yes in the comments. These fears were holding me back from the person I could truly be, the person I am today. Inside, there was an ember of a fire within me that was starting to burn. That was my empowerment. And I'm sure a number of you feel like that. I had to find my authentic self, go out there with faith instead of fear. It is a case of choosing fear over faith. By choosing to overcome, your brain attempts to protect you from what's happening before because it doesn't want to be hurt. So you've got to overcome these things. And I'm going to cover a little bit about how to in a minute. But please type in 1 if you feel fear when approaching people and inviting them to this business space, or 2 for confidence if you're feeling confident about it. It's not permanent. It's just where you're at right now in this space. Fear is commonly made to be more complex than it needs to be. And indeed, fear is the most single common obstacle between you as a person fulfilling your potential and living your dream, between you approaching your friends, family, and strangers. There's a new fear on the block these days, and it's the fear of perfection. As I've sort of grown up around this, I've often found this quite fascinating. How many of you relate to this fear? This fear of perfection, maybe falling short of perfect standards. We're living in a social media age, so it's not surprising that we're feeling like that. I once felt very intimidated by people and wanted to be the perfect model, say the perfect thing, do the perfect things, until I found the more authentic side of myself. One of my old mentors, I remember talking to me about this. It's their problem if they judge you, and the problems with them if they, somebody doesn't like you, because you've got to remember that judgment's coming from them. It's reflecting back at you with their inadequacies, I get that in a minute, and everything else that they're feeling, and they're reflecting that back at you. It's not about you. It's back with them. I remember listening to Brandy, one of these wonderful trainers that we have, and she was talking about how she went to approach Adrian, and she didn't. She sort of stepped back and felt awkward about it. And Adrian actually nearly went with another company and working with another business because she didn't have that sort of feeling that she was putting the empowerment out there and approaching her. I found that very powerful. There's a valuable lesson in that. We do feel valueless and disempowered, and we can find our empowerment. There's simple techniques that we can do. Fear of loss wasn't working for me. I had to have something that I'd take with me, yeah? And, I had to have value and feel that under my belt. I had a chicken list. I have a chicken list when I first started in this business, and this chicken list was full of people who I thought were better than myself. Now, type yes in the comments box if you feel like you've got a chicken list, and people who are perhaps you feel a bit bigger and better than you, shinier than you, have more money than you, more status than you. I was thinking a lot about that back in the day, and wouldn't approach those people at all. I wouldn't even do that. But I came to realize that they had the same problems as me. They were broken at a bigger level, and they had a lot more responsibilities. If I gave them a list of my problems, I want to take my problems back, because their problems and their responsibilities was a lot bigger than mine. If you're coming from a place of not approaching people because you think they're not going to, you're not able to do that, maybe you don't value yourself enough, you'd be really surprised at how they feel. They're praying for an answer just like everybody else. Of course they are, particularly in these times. Just by approaching them, putting some emotion in there, you'll find you'll get so much further. People take things personally. It's never personal, of course. When you're driving your car down the road, you're driving your vehicle, and somebody cuts you up, do you actually turn it on its head and think perhaps they're having a bad day, or they've had an argument with their spouse, or they're just plain tired? Or do you take it personally, think, oh my gosh, they cut me up in traffic, it was all, they had it in for me? Things are not personal. People have their own problems in their own spaces. It's not about you, okay? Remember, no is neutral. It's not about you. A lot of people worry about rejection, but you're just finding your feet with these things. There are plenty of yeses out there. So you need to get confident and break the ice. See if your prospects' tails are wagging. Are they happy people? Are they open-minded? Are they ambitious? Are they willing to work? I look for things like this as like a tick list, so that I know that I'm actually talking to somebody that actually is going to say yes, okay? I came to learn it didn't matter exactly what I said, and this is really important. It was about the depth of my emotion and conviction, the power and the passion in what I was delivering. I could have foot-and-mouth disease or predictive text disease, but when I put the excitement, the passion, and the power into what I was saying, everybody said, yeah, that's great. What do you tell me more. I learned to enjoy the process of inviting, because even when, people turned the opportunity down, I made a new friend, I'm quite a peoply person, I accepted it, I found out more about them. It was a nice process. I learned to love the whole process. The old adage, of course, is a stranger's a friend you haven't met yet. So my expectation changed. I expected a different outcome. I got to expect a different outcome. I learned to put myself in their shoes. You don't know a person until you've walked in a mile in their moccasins, yeah? And so I put things out without expecting anything back. How many of you put something out there and expect something back just because you shared the opportunity, right? Or expect a result just because you're getting into the activity of getting a yes, yeah? Most people say no as their knee-jerk reaction, not because they dislike you or anything else, but because they don't want to be hit up with disappointment in their lives, okay? They're not feeling any different to you. Remember how you felt when you first got involved. People think, what will it work for me? What will people think of me? These things are just constantly a rhetoric that people play out, okay? Remember, if you get things wrong and you spell things wrong and you garbled in your voice clips, or you don't put things out properly, that's not a judgment of who you are. It's how you're doing it and how that emotion's coming over to people, the passion, the belief, what you're thinking about. It's the depth of it. It's not the depth of your knowledge. We all know that this one, it's the depth of your conviction. It's not the depth of your knowledge, it's the depth of your conviction. I love the voice clips idea that Jay Switz covered last Saturday, when she was talking about the fact that we can actually convey our emotion within voice clips. Marvelous. I love voice clips, being a massive advocate of them, because you can say and feel and convey that truth within your voice. People can hear you are a real person with some depth in there. How many of you have fumbled approach, but felt good about sharing it, and the person you spoke to said, yes, oh wow, tell me some more, I want to take the opportunity further. Emotions are your hook. The emotions are your hook in this business. How much you feel about that passion of what you're offering to people and what you're sharing. Dig in if this happened to you. What if you're failing your way to inviting and you suffer from some of these fears and diseases that we've mentioned? What if you're thinking those things? Well, there are easy answers if you commit to them, and they're learned and we can share them, and countless others have had the benefit of these before. First, you have to believe and invest in dreams and your visualization. Every day imagining your lifestyle the way you want it, how you want to live your life, empowering yourself and giving yourself the inner power you need to go forwards with the day, to go forward with your inviting. Use substitution of feeling by taking action when you feel scared. That's a big one. Take action when you feel scared. Do something. You'll surprise yourself, yeah? You've got to believe in your dream. No one else will. You've got to believe in you. No one else will believe in you like you do. Most importantly, get out the way of yourself. Use the power of self-affirmations or self-talk. How many of you know what that is? Self-talk is a powerful tool. It's something that we all use. Self-talk is reprogramming your brain with positive expectations. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real and imagined experience, yeah? It understands now commands just like a computer. These commands need to be present, positive, in the first person. And for me, self-talk, self-affirmations have been a massive tool in my life, and something I've shared, as I said, with countless people. When you read something out loud with conviction, it tends to reprogram your brain for success and not for failure. I'm really good at inviting people. I know people are enjoying what I'm offering. I love connecting with people. I'm up and at it and building it today. I believe in my abilities. Even I love myself and I'm worthy. I'd recommend digging into materials. I know my good friend Austin is into books and audios, as I am, and Alonzo and a myriad of other of the wonderful leaders on here. But I'm a big believer in books and things. I love this book, okay? This one is What You Say to When You Talk, say again, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. I've had this for years and years and years. We say donkey's ears in the UK. It's a terrific book. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it in audio, and it teaches you how to stop these programs running and how to stop this self-defeating self-program that we all get into. And you get into finding your own space with that, the things that you need to adjust to. Thoroughly recommend learning as you earn, okay? And enjoying that and learning your process. Enjoy visualizing daily on little things, not just big things. See yourself succeeding on a daily process. Read biographies. I absolutely love biographies, audio and physically. I've just read Matthew McConaughey's. I was sharing this with Gareth, one of my people in my group, and I'm now reading Robert Redford's. And, you know, if you realize if one person can overcome something, so can you. When you read biographies, you get to realize that your life isn't so strange, that some of the things you've overcome and had to overcome, other people have too. You know, Austin brought up yesterday on one of his lives, Jay Shetty's Think Like a Monk, a terrific book. You know, that's another great one where it talks about how to lead your life and fill your doctrines. And it talks about some of the things I've talked about today. So I'm not the only person obviously talking about that. You can dig into that in your own time. You know, remember, in overcoming, you become. You know, you've got to find aspects of yourself and incorporate them into yourself. That's another great process that allows you to have strength, conviction, overcome fears, get beyond that point where you're actually scared instead of, you know, you're having the faith now, not the fear. Okay. And you need to find those sorts of things that work for you. Austin's own book, which I'm going to actually give a little plug, actually, because I thought about it only earlier, is Acting Classes. Brilliant book. It talks about taking those aspects of other people and making your own to give yourself the strength and conviction to go forwards. You know, another golden rule is to be true to yourself. These are all solutions to having fears and then finding your truths and your faiths. On my son's 18th birthday, I gave him this pendant. It says, it's inscribed, to thine own self be true. You know, maybe you should carry things around with you that make you think of those times when you've been courageous or brave. You know, I was watching Divergence last night. It was all about the dauntless and the brave people. You know, you find bravery through the strangest of actions, but you need to find things that work for you. Find your style and voice when you reach out and connect. Stop copying other people and comparing, and just be yourself. Okay. If there's the biggest lesson I've learned in my life, is just to be me. Okay. We're not our mentors. You know, we may love aspects of them, but we are ourselves. And it took me years to appreciate that. Like I said, warts and all. Be honest with people. Self-honesty is massive. Okay. If you're honest with people, they'll feel that honesty back. Remember what I said, it's an emotional thing. It's an emotionally connected business, you know. And if you're not sure about things, point to other people's lifestyle and successes until you have yours. Build your confidence around theirs. That's a great tip. You know, when I first met Austin, even now we're always pointing to Austin's lifestyle because he's got a great lifestyle. Okay, and we talk about it and the people are going, wow, that's so cool, we can have a bit of that, we want a bit of that. They're feeling the lifestyle, the freedom. You know, he was out on his patio yesterday enjoying the sun, reading his book, as he was telling us all, you know, this is great, this is a motive. Okay, stay away from prejudgment. It's a killer. You know, people get into this business with their reasons to build this, not your reasons. Don't try and prejudge people. Don't start to say, hey man, I think I know what they want. You don't know. Okay. Oftentimes, you know, people have a lot of things going on behind the scenes, especially in these times when everybody hides behind social media, making out their lives are perfect, when in fact they're going to bed praying for a solution. I remember Anne covering that, literally praying for a solution, you know, to get them out of debt, to put passion back in their lives, to have security, or simply get their mojo back. Okay. You know, often friends and family, that's a biggie for people. They won't approach their friends and family because they're too familiar with them, right? So you need to introduce other people in the team that you're, you know, familiar with and you're upline, and take the eyes off you and put them onto somebody else. Get them to relate with somebody else. Get them to see a bigger picture. You'll soon find that your friends and family will take you more seriously, okay? All marketing is the same. It's looking to fill a need. Okay. In this business, it's freedom, security, retirement incomes, those sorts of things. This business actually has it. So you're not actually overcoming the logic of what you're offering somebody. You're just overcoming or trying to overcome you in getting to those people and emotionally connecting with them. You know, this is the key to it. We're in an emotively reflected business. You know, people want to belong to a culture, a place where they belong and are accepted. That's an emotional feeling. That's not about how, you know, logical this whole thing is. So you need to cultivate conviction by putting your ego out there, putting yourself out there, investing your time, your money into the business, and obviously, more importantly, your emotions. Yeah. Now, there's never a better time, let's have a nice sip of my blue, to overcome inertia and get started. You know, have a do it now attitude. You will surprise yourself. Prepare your mindset, get in the trenches and run the numbers to find your yes and dismiss the rest. Always approach with positive expectations. Get your head in a good mindset before you approach people. Approach people positively. We're going through some strange times. You don't want to talk to people weakly, okay? The will that weakens first strengthens the other, okay? The will that weakens first strengthens the other. Approach people strongly, positively. I know we're going through strange times. I felt this too. I found myself reinventing and finding a new way forward. How about you? Okay? When you started building a rapport, you'll find that you'll give them positive and what we call positive expectations. So you're affirming before you've ever got there. You can offer them a Zoom chat. What would you prefer? Tuesday XYZ or Thursday XYZ? Give them a choice of two yeses. You're always expecting a yes. I see far too many people say to people various things and they're expecting the no. Yeah, people will surprise you. Connect with them. If you haven't heard from them, drip on them. Use gifts. Use photos, positive parts of your life. You'll be surprised how many people will reconnect with you and comment back and get back into conversing with you. Remember, you're in control of your responses, your prejudices, and taking action when dealing with people. You're responsible for your emotions and how you feel and how you even start your day with those emotional expectations. You've got to just look around you at the success business and this model. It's brilliant. I mean, it really is, okay? And you need to give people that brilliance, that feeling, that expectation that they're going to get in and it's going to be good and we're just going to rock from one point to another. Remember, fear stands for fantasized experiences appearing real. Let's make that fabulous experience in reality with your new people, okay? As you build your success from success to success and people say yes, your conviction gets stronger and you get stronger as you get more competent, you get more conviction, your belief gets stronger, and those initial fears dispel. I am talking from experience. You just get in there and it starts to run and rock, and then you're in your if you like, you're in your groove. Success is failure turned inside out. Negative emotions hold you back, and so use some of these techniques shared today, and I know I've covered a myriad of them. Be bold and be brave. There's no guts without glory. Remember, you're in charge of how you're treated and how great that experience can be. It's all about you and how you feel and how you connect with other people. We are human beings connecting with one another. On that note, I'm going to hand it back to Austin.
All right, Christina, good stuff, man. I hope you guys were taking notes. I know that she was moving quick, but she covered a lot of ground. If I had to say just one thing that I got from that, which I took quite a bit of good notes, a matter of fact, I'll mention two. One is the emotions are not subject to reason. However, they are subject to action. Action cures all. I love that. That's something that I've been conscious of and aware of for quite a while, is that you can't talk yourself out of the feelings that you're feeling. You have to act on them. So the emotions are not subject to reason. They are subject to action. Another one is this 3-step process that she laid out of face your fears, find your empowerment, and discover your authentic self. There was just tons of value. I hope you all were paying attention and took some good notes because there was value to be had in that. Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you for leading us on the Tuesday motivational Zoom. Guys, beware of the knowledge action gap, knowing what to do without actually doing it. Take this advice. Let's get to work. Let's have a record-breaking week. Appreciate you all. Have a day that makes a difference. Thanks.